Yo, 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 what's going on? Welcome in. Take notes, grab a pen. Welcome back to another episode of the Honorable Marvin Coop Show with me, Chef Marv. No lie, I'm that guy. Got my man Jwilliii with me. I got some new blood with me as well. So introduce yourself, bro.
I'm Newmeegs. I'm a Knicks and Steelers fan, and I'm out here just chilling with the boys today, dude, on this fine morning.
Yes, sir.
So Marv, you got a
Yeah,
cool one. That's what I'm
yeah. What's up, man? Appreciate you having us, man. It's a couple of Sodass podcasts. Bulls, Bears, Cubs. You know what I'm saying?
hearing, sir.
Uh, we got something in common. I got my brother, the Knicks and Steelers, and you got your Bulls, fan. So we good.
Oh,
We 50-50. So don't cry,
oh,
Jwilliii. Don't cry.
okay, man. You got some help today, brother.
I heard Knicks and Steelers. I thought I was getting jumped for a second, man. I ain't
No, I got you.
So before we get into this finals preview, breaking news from New York. They fired Thibodeau. So one by one, who wants to start first with that?
I don't mind whoever wants to talk
I
first.
I'll start. Shit. I mean, Thibodeau to me, bro. I like Thibodeau. From
Yeah.
when he was coaching the Bulls, man. And
Mhm.
I don't like this firing, bro. Like the Knicks ain't been relevant. I mean, they been doing their thing and shit since Carmelo and them days or whatever
Mhm.
though. But Thibodeau
Right.
added a spark to that city and this team. And they had a good, like Miggs was talking about, they had good chemistry and stuff. So it's a crazy move, and I don't know where do they go, like who come in, and this roster is basically fit for Tibbs scheme. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he got his switch, the defensive players that can make the right switches and all that.
Right.
So it's typical, New York Knicks basketball stuff, bro. Like
Crazy.
what? You feel me?
Crazy.
I don't like it.
Mm.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm furious about it because, like, to see my team, like, to have to watch the Knicks be so shit like my entire life, and then like the Knicks finally have, a good season, and I get to see this team, kind of develop a bag and have like team chemistry, and they made the Eastern Conference Final. To see them just like give up so quick on Thibs, especially when you saw him lead them to the playoffs 4 to 5 of the last seasons,
Mhm.
even when the team like in his early stages didn't even necessarily really deserve to be in the playoffs. I don't think the team was really set to be in the playoffs. But to see the team finally develop, they picked up Cat and Mikel in the off season, and then instead of like letting that team just keep kind of growing together and develop together and build more chemistry, to see them just kind of give up on Thibs that quick is severely disappointing to me. And I'm really upset with the team right now. I think that, to be completely honest, I think next season, no matter who they hire, I really do see you're probably going to see a decrease in wins, and they're probably not going to make it as far. If I'm being completely honest, I just don't see it, especially with like, I honestly, I will have to see if there's more information of why this happened. If it was like the players, like everyone was saying earlier, but I just don't see the move. I think it hurts team chemistry, especially when this team made it as far as they did this season.
Uh, I'm kind of like I'm sideways about it because I feel like as a Bulls fan, my main criticism when it comes to Thibs is that sometimes I think he does slightly underperform in the playoffs. But with that being said, I still think Tibbs is a good coach. I would be 100% shocked to not see him on a different team next year. I'd be really, really surprised coming into 2026 if he's still, on the market. But with that being said, I do understand from like the Knicks perspective, like, this is the probably for you guys the best team you guys have had since like what to 2000s, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I don't even
Like
look
2013 was the last time they, so
Yeah.
they
yeah,
made the playoffs in 2013, but besides that, they've literally been like a 20 to 30 win team.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's crazy because like even with that, those Carmelo seasons, y'all still had off season, off years even with that. Um, I to me, this is one of those fives where it's like you better hope that your next guy is an A plus hire who's able to, like lead this team to a championship. Because if not, and it kind of sets the franchise backwards, then down the line I'll be like, yes, that was a really bad fire. But on the other hand, like I said, with Thibs, I'm kind of like sideways about him because I've seen him on the 62 win Bulls team not lead us to the finals. You can say LeBron this, all LeBron that. I've seen him lead us the next season to 50 and 16 and then get eliminated by the Bulls, or excuse me, the 76ers. So, I mean, I think Thibs as a coach is a good coach, but I've always had questions, excuse me, about seeing if he can actually lead a team that is a somewhat of a contender to the finals. Because honestly, coming into this season, after the Bridges trade and the and Cat coming into New York, I honestly thought that this roster was good enough to make it to the finals. And I was for sure coming into this series that they were going to be able to knock off the Pacers. And obviously, you know, other things happen, but this is a very crazy move I didn't really expect to hear right now, honestly. Like I was just driving home from work and I got the notification from Underdog and I was like, dang, just like that.
Mm.
I just don't understand. Leon Rose, like you said, we in the winning mode. We trying to get a championship, but it seemed like you didn't give this roster an opportunity to grow. Like it's our first year with Cat Bridges, and we could have got pieces next year. You never know. We could have made a trade for Giannis or something like that. But like my man Nick just said, this is the first time, and I mean the first time that we got to the finals, Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. And he's been progressing year after year after year. And for you to fire him like without giving a chance for the team to grow together, gel together, it's just like unbelievable. And I remember Stephen A. said like he was gonna coach himself out of a job. But I'm like, no, just give him some time, especially if y'all gonna make changes to the rosters. That's what I'm saying with these people. Y'all making changes to rosters and stuff like that, but y'all not giving these coaches a fair shot. So big, it's like our Steelers now. What directions is we gonna go through now? What's our next move? It can't be Malone. Who we gonna get now? That's the real question. Who we gonna get to replace Tibbs? And like you said, it could be a real decrease in wins. You don't know how the players gonna feel about that. So they gonna be like, oh, I don't want to play here no more, this and that. So it's gonna be a lot of different in the coaching next year. So I
Yeah,
just don't know how to really like honestly feel about it. Like it's just crazy.
well, and a lot of people will sit there and talk about like, well, he didn't make the adjustments he needed to make or whatnot.
Hmm.
But like if you look at it in those last two games, he did start playing the bench more. I
Right.
mean, McBride played what 18 minutes in that last game, and then 14 the game before that. But it's not those bench players weren't doing anything. They weren't
Exactly.
providing you know, aspects of the games that we needed. Like McBride is a great defender. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong,
Right.
pesky, that, but he wasn't putting up points. He really wasn't rebounding, and he wasn't, assisting much in the game. He was pretty much just getting cardio. So it's like even when he did push bench players, that just shows you that instead of firing Thibs, you saw that he could make those adjustments. What they should have done was bring in an efficient bench scorer this offseason and run it back. I would
Right.
understand it if Thibs was getting bounced in the first or second round every year, but it's like you said, progression every year.
Every
So
year.
what the point of this firing was, to be honest.
So what was the point of giving him the 3-year extension last year if we was gonna fire him this year? Like what's going
Yeah,
on?
I
They
thought
gave him an extension last year.
We gave him a 3-year extension last year, 30 million guaranteed.
Oh man,
he's in that
yeah,
home.
I don't get it. It gotta be some more, some inside stuff. Then maybe it was some players or the main players. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Anything else
But
that
That was
Bronson, the other day talking about something he loved Thibs, and this was
yeah.
him. So I don't know.
And then with that whole shenanigans with Bridges talking about play the bench more, but that was regular season, but they
Yeah, I'm
got
not.
and
past that.
Tibbs could be a hole. You get what I'm saying?
But sometimes
So
that's what you
maybe
gotta
if
be. That's what you gotta
right, right,
be.
right,
So
but
yeah,
towards the upper, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe they got the saying like, "Oh, you over or such and such," you know what I'm saying? And he like, "Yeah,
yeah,
no, don't worry about it. I got it."
right.
You know what I'm saying? Get it.
That's
But
I think you're right, bro.
Tibbs
You're right.
my guy, bro. I don't like it, bro, but I mess with Tibbs, bro. Uh,
Maybe honestly, maybe it's just an overreaction from the front office because I do think like the Knicks really thought that this year is going to be the year that they actually like contend for the championships, even make it to the finals, if that. And they gave Thibs what he wanted. They gave him a team that perfectly kind of bends to his game. You know what I'm saying? And I guess for them to not see it pay off in year one, they hitting the panic button a way, way, way too early, and it just
They
looking
did.
like
That's
another
so
pain for some.
yeah, they
I
beat the
don't know
defending champs.
exactly. We took out Boston, bro.
exactly.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like Thibodeau, the Knicks have won at least one playoff series in each of these past 3 years under Tibbs. And so for you to bounce him out, especially at the 1 year of this roster together, you developed pretty much these players. Like I said, I don't really like it. Don't get me
Cause
don't
who
get
they,
me wrong. The rotation skills, yeah, I had a problem with that. But as you just said, in these playoffs, he was starting to play the bench more. He was.
bro? They better not get they college coach, bro.
I hope.
Not to like throw anyone under the bus, but like you saw JJ Redick, who was a third seed, right? And then he got benched. That team got benched in the first round, and that was honestly because Redick didn't make adjustments. And then you
Mhm.
saw Thibs, who he saw that he was having issues not playing as a bench, so he made the adjustments. So it's just
Right.
weird to me that now Redick gets to keep his job, but Thibs gets fired somehow. I just don't.
Crazy.
I
Yeah,
really.
cause
Crazy. Crazy.
Two different front offices.
yeah, Redick
I
is like a
I
first year too to
Yeah,
piggyback
but
up.
once again, bro, like I said, why Leon give him a 3 year extension then if you just planning
Yeah,
on firing him? Is it money issues or what's going on here?
It's
Like,
just I don't understand this honestly. The more I think about it, the less I understand why they would even make this move.
I'm sorry, but Leon is the dumbest president I've ever like witnessed in somewhat basketball history, man. I don't know what his plan is. What was the point of this? And now who's your next target? Who you gonna get to replace Tibbs?
If it's Malone, I'm about to be fired up because
It
he's
cannot be Malone because they
cancer.
he
So
pretty much got fired for the same thing. His players didn't respect him.
yeah,
And he
So
had front office turmoil too. So
yeah. And that's what I think too with that, not to jump to Denver, but I think Malone wouldn't have been there and cuss people out. That's probably why he got fired. You know. Maybe Tom did something that we don't know about, but it still never
yeah,
made no
bro.
sense to
Tibbs.
me.
I mean, at this point in time, we still have to remember it is fresh news. We'll probably get more details about it later, maybe as even a reason why. But
Yeah,
like I said, until they say something, to me, it just don't look like a good
yeah,
decision.
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe they got a call from a coach that's done that need a change of scenario with a team.
But still, though,
And
man, it's like why make a Thibs type team just to kick him out after one season?
unless you planning on bringing uh a damn what's his name? Phil
Steve
Jackson
Kerr.
I was about to
or yeah, Phil Jackson or somebody who played for the Knicks like Patrick Ewing or somebody who can really come in here and win, then no, there's no reason for this at
not even
all.
Patrick Ewing, to be honest with you, man.
Maybe because remember Steve Kerr had a agreement with them before he went to the
Mhm.
Golden State.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Unless he on some Pat Riley, not Pat Riley. Greg been trying to just stay with them for because who knows what Golden State on, but
Right.
you know maybe he'd be like, oh, I need a change.
So,
Who knows?
any so quick replacements for him. Who would y'all bring in?
I think they gonna try to do some get they Bronson them college coach or something, bro. Like
Like I said before, this so it's gonna be the Villanova Knicks now.
Villanova Knicks for real, for real.
Hey,
And
Jay,
then
That's crazy.
Jay Wright just retired from Villanova not even 2 seasons ago. I think it's a
yeah,
long shot, but I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think the perfect fit would be Malone, just because he does have that championship background that kind of hangs over his head. Like I said, I don't know what kind of happened with the Denver situation, but I feel like if it's not just because he's just a drama queen and stuff like that, and it's just kind of how he, his how he coached,
Yeah.
then I'd be fine with it because I feel like Denver, their main issue was they got that ring, and I wouldn't be surprised if a few people on that team kind of got big headed a little bit. So like every time that they lost, or so every time something went wrong, they complain a lot or whatever like that. Whereas you look at this Knicks organization, I'm not pretty sure anybody on that roster, not making jokes, but I don't think anybody on that roster has a ring.
No,
Yeah,
not
OG Anunoby.
oh,
Yeah, that's
OG
right. He
do.
got one. But you could put that type of guy in New York to kind of feed, to kind of give them, that little push because he knows what it takes to win. So I feel like that'd be a good spot, honestly, for him if he's
My,
not on. Yes,
my
Yeah, I
brother,
think it's gonna
yeah.
be Malone. I don't want Malone, but I do think that's probably where they're gonna go, and I think that's what a lot of fans want. But it's not my guy for sure. Not my pick.
Damn
I
sure
don't
ain't
even
my
really
guy.
what
I
all
don't even know
names
who I'd want, to be honest with you. I'd
right
have to look into
well
it
out
because
there.
I wasn't looking into head coaches. I didn't see the Knicks moving on from Thibs, so
Yeah, me neither. I wish they didn't
Right.
blackball Mark Jackson. Maybe bring the New York kid home to coach the team.
did he go
Right.
anywhere when he was fired
It,
in State?
You said what, Diego?
Did he go anywhere else when he was fired and go
No.
crazy? No.
it's
Mm-mm.
crazy. They'll get rid of Tibbs like that, and the Bulls just hold on to Donovan.
I thought this was gonna be Donovan's year to go away. I'm not gonna hold this bit.
Bro, like that undisclosed contract extension make me mad, bro. Like,
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
mm,
he has front office always been a joke for the past 25 years, though. I'm just used to it at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't know who to bring in there for real, especially with the roster we have. It's just all don't add up. But now we got to get to work. Now we back at square one. So I don't know what to say or do. It's gonna be a long, and I mean a long off season for us, for real.
It's like the 1 year y'all have an actual team.
Exactly, Jay. That's what I said. It's like I don't get it, man. But I think we just pretty much that's the next question. Where do the Knicks go from here? Coach now. I think players is the last resort. You got to get a coach now.
Somebody that fits that same scheme, preferably. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
it's not all coaches. The way you coach. What your strong suits are.
Yeah.
Not all coaches can be on certain teams if it don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta look at candidates this year.
Yeah, I don't even want to look at candidates. Soda's new. Any more thoughts on the Knicks
hold
before
on.
we move on?
nah. I mean, I didn't like the move,
Yeah,
plain
me
and
neither, bro.
simple. But we'll see what happens. But I see
It's
the
gonna be a
team
long season
performing
for us. It's gonna be a
best and
long
somehow
off.
giving up the team. I don't like it.
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
So as Knicks fans, before we move on, y'all,
My bad.
how do
You
y'all
good?
feel
You
about
good?
your current roster? Like, would you do anything to change it up, or would you just kind of run it back?
I
How do
wanted
y'all?
to run it back. I feel like we should run it back for real.
I want to
Like
run it back, get some bench pieces. That's all we like. All these people talking about Giannis. I don't want Giannis. I mean,
mm-mm.
especially with the price tag that you'd want to give up. I'm okay.
We would have to give up the whole team for him, and I ain't with
That's what
that.
I'm saying. I'm good.
His price
Yeah,
tag is way too big for anybody to be trying to.
Yeah, y'all don't even really got the
capital
picks,
for
right?
him. No, we ain't got no capital for the honest. We
But
don't.
it's crazy because there was a report from Chicago the other day. Like Chicago said, all of their players would have been available if they knew that Luka was on the trade market. So I wonder if we try to do some funny stuff like that just to try to see. I'd be so mad, but this at this point, bro, I don't really care.
Yeah, it's nothing you could do about that. Um, all right, fellas, where do Minnesota go? Where do the Timberwolves go from here? What's next for them?
You got to give Ant another shooter or something. And it's
Yeah.
he definitely has been inconsistent this entire playoff run, whether that's because of injuries or just skill-based performance.
Yeah,
When Ant's not hot, sometimes the offense kind of looks a little bit disgusting, especially when Julius Randle is like, showing you the version of him that he was in New York. But I feel like they have to get another guard who can shoot the ball well, whether that's a high value bench player, whether that's a well volume starter, something. Because once again, if Ant's not hitting, that entire offense looks very lackluster because the offense kind of revolves around him sometimes,
that's true.
and you just can't
I
rely
think
on Julius Randle to be a consistent second option when it comes to scoring. Sadly,
I think they need a real point guard. Move on from Mike Conley.
I'm getting older.
Yeah, they need a real guard to facilitate that offense.
Hmm.
Let him, move off the ball a little more. You know, probably either re-sign Randall or find, somebody else.
dang, Mike Conley turned 38
Yeah, he
October.
gonna be 38. He been in there for a minute, man.
I know, but time be flying by. That's crazy.
Right. No, what you think next for Minnesota? What's
So they got what Julius Randle needs an extension this offseason if they want to keep him around.
yeah.
My only concern with the whole Julius Randle thing, like I think he might go somewhere else and get a bag.
Oh yeah.
Just because like he went off in the playoffs, but you got to realize too, when he was going off, he was playing like lackluster bigs. You know what I mean? He was playing small ball teams. He played the Warriors, who barely really. I mean, yeah, he played Green, but Green's at kind of the end of his career. And then who'd they play in the first round? The Lakers, who
Lakers, yeah.
had Dorian Finney-Smith playing like center. So it's like, because he's gonna demand what, like a supermax, right?
Probably.
So
Randall.
yeah, are they gonna keep Randall? I'm not sure. They got Dante DiVincenzo is cool.
Hmm.
That team needs a lot in my eyes. I really don't. I don't know, dude. Like, I think Gobert needs to be moved because he didn't show up for him. Uh, Nas Reed on it. I think Nas Reed also is in for a contract extension too.
Yeah.
So it's like if they see Nas Reed and Randall leave, I mean, if you can only pick one or the other, I'm probably taking Reed. And then if they can trade Rudy for, I think they mainly need a point guard. Mike Conley's like 30, going into
38.
38 years old, dude. They
Yeah.
need to pick up someone. I don't know who the answer is for him at point guard, but they need a point guard. They got two guys that are probably going to demand a good amount of money
Hmm.
with the playoff series they've had. But I think that they really got exposed when it really mattered. So I don't know how much of that's going to play into the money that they end up giving to Randall and uh, Nas Reed. But Nas Reed's definitely the best center on that team to me. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they need to do a lot to me.
It,
It
it's,
might
it's
come down to them deciding over my bad, but it
Yeah.
might come down to them having to choose over one or the other.
Hmm.
I think they have to because of they don't got enough money to open up. I think one does have to go. Somebody got to go.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that the Suns is like aggressively asking for a deal for KD and lower prices. So would you try to trade for KD?
Sign and trade Randall, yeah.
He would fill my needs. Pause.
Yeah. I mean, not quite sure. Like I said, ain't no telling which way Minnesota gonna go in.
It's tough, man, because like even if you want to try to deal Rudy, you kind of can't because you have to think at this stage of Rudy's career, I'm guessing he's probably around that 34, 35.
Yeah, he 34, 34.
You only trade for a guy like Gobert if you are trying to make your team like more so of a playoff contender at this point in time, right? And
Yeah.
Gobert has shown us time and time and again since he's been in Utah that he cannot get it done in the playoffs. Younger teams are not going to want to trade for him, or rebuilding teams are not going to want to trade for him because he's not a young guy. You don't trade for older guys unless you're Washington and for some reason get a wash Chris Middleton. But I don't see a team that necessarily will want to take on that Gobert contract at all. Like it may be one of those situations where I got to just stuck with him unless you just release him and let pay that guarantee. But that
Yeah.
go contract is too nasty. That's a bad predicament to be in right now.
Man. Oh man, I don't know what to say about Minnesota right now. To be honest with you, don't know where can you go. Back-to-back conference finals, you lose. I don't know what to say about it now. Yeah, maybe try to get a point guard. I don't think adding KD will help them. So most definitely not. So
I don't even know where KD ends up, dude.
yeah, me neither. Like I said, whoever gets that best deal for him. Because like now I think the Suns is supposed to go take anything for him. So let's see what happens.
Houston has an opportunity to actually try to go out there and get him, if you ask me. Especially when they said they lowered the thing. I was like, Houston, this is for some you gotta try. Like,
Facts. I
can't
get it. I
And
get it.
Brad Beal, they'll be stuck with him.
Yeah, they stuck with him for a minute. So
I mean, his contracts. I don't know what they were thinking giving him that money, dude.
it's the no trade clause. Like he's like one out of 10 players in the NBA history to have a no trade clause in his contract. You know how crazy that is?
that's very crazy. That's crazy. All right. So NBA Finals preview. Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder is sounds so diabolical. So
It sounds weird to even say.
Yeah, didn't
yeah,
expect this. This might be one of the lowest final. I don't know, but it started on my birthday. I'm gonna watch it.
Happy early birthday, bro. Happy early birthday.
I got. I'm gonna get a Pacers one. You know, one
Pacers.
of the. Coming off a good series like they just did with the Knicks. So
Yeah.
I'll get them a game or two, but OKC definitely taking it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's gonna probably be a gentleman's sweep for OKC. I do think will be a fun series, and I do think a lot of the games will be close. Like I don't think OKC is gonna be blowing them out of the water, but I do think OKC they just got the roster is way better. I mean, and they actually have a true superstar, whereas like the Pacers. I mean, some people consider Halliburton a superstar, but his inconsistencies. Like he had two bad games against the Knicks. He had two bad games against the Cavs. He's not at that superstar level yet. Like, because like SGA and like Jokic, those type of guys are just in like a whole nother level than Halliburton is in. So, I mean, without a true superstar, uh, I see the Thunder kind of wiping them down. And I also saw that with the Knicks. I mean, I thought either team that went was probably going to lose to OKC, if I'm being completely honest.
I came on this podcast every single series. I was like, Patience going to lose to the Cavs. They're going to lose to the Bucks. They're going to lose to the Knicks. So, I've been proven wrong a lot about that. But this time, I don't think I'll be proven wrong. I think because of kind of what he said about Halliburton's inconsistency, the way the Thunder match up against teams' best player or best scorer is kind of crazy. Like they know how to take your top scorer, like limit him extremely well. With that being
Hold
said,
on. What's that noise, y'all? Somebody.
Oh, that's the dogs barking in the back outside.
Oh, okay, it is. All right, cool. Go ahead, Jay.
yeah,
No,
with,
I keep hearing it. It's
I
like
think it's
somebody moving.
said.
Yeah, somebody like moving or something. I think that's you, new. Yeah, sit you mute again. No, that's not him. That's not
Like
him.
I think somebody's core is not like plugged in all the way or something. That's what it sounds like.
I hear what you're saying, bro.
Yeah, somebody plugged up him.
Everyone, wait, mute up real quick, Soda. See if.
All right. Yeah, am I good?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
Good now.
good.
All right, am I good?
You good? So this.
Yeah,
I don't hear it.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Jay. Well, my fault.
Oh, you good. But I just think there's too many uncertainties with the Pacers in the series. not necessarily on their side, but this Thunder team, this defense is historical. Like it's just crazy. So with that being said, at first coming in here because I knew this question was going to be brought up, I was kind of leaning towards Thunder in 5. I was going to give the Pacers a game, but right now, I'm going to have to give them gentleman sweep. So I'm going to go OKC in 4.
Really?
Yeah, I think Thunder's perimeter defense will be kind of too much for the Indiana Pacers offense.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's the way they playing. It's a lot of bad mismatch too in this series. Tyrese versus Shea is gonna be a good matchup. But I think the Pacers can still too make it an interesting series. I don't see no actual blowouts in this series, so it's gonna be pretty interesting.
You said
But
you
it sounds boring. It does sound boring. I may watch a few games, but I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, the finals is on. I ain't gonna jump, to actually watch it. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty, yeah. So
I got a hot take for you. Not to cut you off. I feel like
mhm.
one of these games is going to be astronomically bad, like a 45, 50 point blowout. I would not be surprised. I'm gonna call that. I think that's going to happen in at least one game, just because the Thunder is
Wow.
also known to do that to certain teams as well. They did it to Memphis. They did it to
They got one of those almost every series.
they've done it to the Timberwolves. So I mean, that may be a hot take, but I expect one of those games to be a crazy blowout.
But hey, y'all, I appreciate y'all. I gotta get ready and rock out.
All
Appreciate you
right.
having me, bro.
No problem, man. Be safe, bro. Appreciate you. I hope
All
you
right,
have.
Sodass. Talk to you later, my guy.
All right, homie. Be safe. Appreciate you.
So you got them in 4, or you got them in 5?
I got him in 6.
Oh, you giving them 2 games?
I'm giving him 2 games. I'm giving him 2.
I don't know, man. I really just don't trust Halliburton yet. I think like we had this conversation last week where I think Halliburton's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
To me, as of right now, he's not that superstar because he doesn't have the consistency that comes along with it yet. Because
Right.
we saw Halliburton in one of those games against the Knicks drop like 30 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists. And then like the next night I watched him, he drops like 4 points.
Yeah, his inconsistency is like really crazy. And that's what kills him.
Yeah, people hype him up so much, dude. But I'm like, are you guys not seeing dude, against the Cavs? And I know that they kind of walked through the Cavs, but
Yeah,
it shows you that's why I liked Siakam winning that Eastern Conference Finals MVP
me too.
because they finally gave some respect to the other people there, and I think that's look, game 1, Naismith freaking made 5 threes in like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really talked about him. Everyone kept hyping up how Halliburton had that triple double, but it's like you got to look at the people around him too because there's a lot of times where he doesn't step up, and then the people around him do.
Right.
Like, and I'm not just trying to box watch, but I watched that Cavs series too, and he had a 4 point game against the Cavs, dude. Like that, if you're a superstar, you're not having a 4 point game, you know. And then he followed that up with an 11 point game, and it's like he's just too inconsistent, dude, to be considered a full blown superstar.
Yeah.
But this run feels a lot like the 2021 Bengals uh,
Yeah.
run to me.
Yes.
But honestly, you know what, Halliburton, the narrative about him to me is like in a couple years back when we look at this series, to a casual fan's point of view, they're gonna be like Halliburton carried a team of bums to the finals, which in reality not true at all. Because you know how fans will be. They'll only recognize Halliburton's name and see that he didn't play with necessarily another superstar and run that narrative. But like Halliburton has been solid at times in this playoffs. Like I won't lie to you. But once again, I feel like we need to, talk about the Nesmiths. We need to talk about the Siakams and the other players, the Miles Turners, the guys who are actually, making a difference on this team too. Because this Pacers team coming into the year, I don't think anybody expected them to go to the finals. They have definitely blown out expectations. Everybody right now has been doing their job, and that's honestly why they're in the finals right now. So I feel like people definitely need to kind of give this team a little bit more credit than what it's due.
And like I said,
100%. The bench has been huge for them.
It's
It's been
been
and that was the biggest outlier in the Knicks years, I think the Knicks had a better starting lineup, but the bench was outscoring them some games like 20, 30 points to like under 10. And it's like when you got that many points coming off the bench, even Matherin came through
Hmm.
a lot this playoffs, but he's very inconsistent as well. But like when you have a bunch of inconsistent players, someone's always going to go off.
Mhm.
And I think that's what we've seen from the Pacers, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like it could be just a very exciting point guard matchup. Like we seen the Steph Curry versus Kyrie. Like back in the 70s, Walt Frazier versus Jerry West, 70 or 72. But like I said, this is I think the first time in a long time to where you're gonna see a Shea and a Tyrese matchup in the finals. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, it sound boring, but that matchup is probably could be a dream matchup. You know what I mean? Like 2 point guards, one just won the MVP, one is trying to become a superstar. So I feel like it could be, I feel like they could steal 2 games if he really like that. This gonna prove what he's about. This can really stamp his legacy, and God forbid Indiana win.
Oh yeah, honestly, because he's in Indiana, I feel like his legacy amongst that fan base in general is already
Hmm.
like.
I
Honestly, they
agree.
probably talking about him like he's like Reggie Miller, which that's not an insult to either guy, but that's what I'm
No,
saying. Like, in terms of like publicity in Indiana, they probably love Halliburton. He could probably walk in any building and get anything he wants for free right now.
exactly, most definitely. He the man in that city.
Hmm.
So, and then you got to remember the year before when the All-Star was in that city, he was the man there. So I think his superstar status is going to grow, and it
Especially in
all depends on this
yep.
pretty much finals. So I mean, it's going to be like I said, I'm excited to see those two, but I'm like, at the end of the day, it's still the Pacers and it's still the Thunder.
It just sounds so weird. Like
It sounds very weird. It sounds very weird.
Thunder.
But back in the day when I was a hater, and when when the when the Pacers was decent, and we had to go through the Heat. And I was like, man, and it was at one point where I wanted the Thunder and Pacers to go to the finals because I just did not want the Heat to go,
Hmm.
so now it's like, damn, this finals is actually happening.
That's kind of how I feel about with Boston. That's how I'm kind
Yeah.
of happy. Y'all not.
Yeah, like 2012, I was like, no, the Pacers and Thunder gonna go to the finals. No, damn well. It was Miami and the Spurs. But yeah, I used to say stupid shit like that. Now it's actually happening. But it's gonna be crazy, man. The first game is definitely gonna be interesting. It's gonna be exciting. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Gonna
It's
set
like
the tone.
I think I got a fun quote. I mean, a fun stat for y'all. For the first time, it's the 17th time in 79 years that each finals team boosts an all-star or all-point guard going against each other.
First time.
Like like 17th time in 17 years, 79 years. So the 17th time, 17th time in 79 years, an all-star like going against each other.
I think you'd honestly think it's
Yeah.
more the way point guards are kind of.
Like the all NBA point guard faced off in the NBA finals. Like an all-star and an all NBA point guard.
I wonder what the most recent one is. Is it Kyrie and Steph? Would that be the
Kyrie
most?
and Steph. Kyrie and Steph is the most
Trying
recent
to
one in
making sure
2015.
I'm not forgetting.
2015. Yep, 2015.
Dang.
Because like you said, you had 1970 and 1972, Jerry West versus Walt. Then
Yeah.
you had Kyrie and Steph. Then you had Walt and West again in 73. 89, you had Magic and Isaiah. Then you had Magic and Mo in 83. Oh yeah, 2017, Kyrie and Steph too.
Mm,
Oscar, Earl Monroe, Jerry West and Bob in 62. 1985, Dennis Johnson versus Magic Johnson. 88, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas. 2019, Kyle Lowry and Steph Curry.
mhm.
Jerry West and Bob in 1963, 1951, Bob and Dick McGuire. So, yep,
It's crazy.
now, now 2025, Shea versus Tyrese.
It's crazy. I don't know if I agree with the NBA All Star or All Team selection from 2014, 2015 season with Kyrie, but that's a conversation for another time. I truly think, and Kyrie's earlier, and a part of me is hating, but a part of me I feel like I'm saying the truth too. And Kyrie's run in Cleveland never really felt like, maybe besides that last year, that he was just a top 5 point guard during that time period.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because I feel like 2015 there was still a lot of high value point guards. Like I didn't think he was better than Dame, obviously Curry, Westbrook. This was when John Wall was kind of at his peak time period. A lot more guys that I kind of just felt like,
Hmm.
probably maybe their that what year is that, 2014, 2015 spot
Yeah.
than him. But that's, like I said, different conversation for another day.
Mm.
Could you imagine though if the Pacers do shock the world and win this?
That's what I was thinking too, bro. It could be crazy.
It'd be, I think what would even be funny is like the narratives that come behind it. Like, let's say the Pacers does win, Halliburton, he was labeled as overrated. If he wins the title, I feel like people are going to start praising Halliburton like he really is a superstar. Where people
Hmm.
are going to look at this Thunder team and be like, oh, SGA is overrated because, he had this team, and he couldn't win the championship.
And then
Which
you
I
think
always
about,
those narratives, but
then you think they both was traded from the team that drafted them. Called them a locker room cancers, both of them. Called them this and that. They was like called every single name in the book. Oh, you can't take this, especially Sacramento garbage ass. Y'all have the nerve.
they
I
traded
know y'all kicking yourselves in the foot for trading Tyrese away.
they traded Tyrese and then traded Fox 2 years later.
That's crazy. What's going on in that organization? But we'll talk about it another time. But here's the real question. Could this be the new blueprint of the NBA with these two facing off?
I mean, like these two are like the next two, like potential, like top, contenders.
I think Miles Turner said something yesterday. It kind of like made me laugh. He said he believes this super team era may be over.
Mm. I wonder why he have Miles Turner said that.
Miles Turner said this.
It honestly, always when people talk about this, it just depends on what you define as a super team, because not everybody looks. I think the term's used too wildly at times. Like if you ask me, I only think there's been like 3 or 4 real super teams. Um, but some people think there's super teams every single year. So
Hmm.
it just depends on who you ask.
That's true. Man.
I'm curious. I really do think OKC with like especially how many first round picks they have. Like in what
Hmm.
2028 they have like 5 unprotected first round picks. Dude, I could see OKC just running the league for the next 10 years maybe. If they
Yeah,
play the cards right,
I agree.
they could easily run the league for the next 10 years.
And I
And
said,
that's
and I
Can't
said
believe
this last week too.
George.
And I said this last week. That inexperience, that young shit, it's no more excuses for him. Remember, Jay, well, I said this last week. I was like, nah, they gotta win.
you hear
Y'all
now.
had the number one record, y'all, because y'all nothing. There ain't no more excuses for them now. So they here. I don't want to hear nothing from them. So,
It's
yeah.
just scary, man, because I feel like when we talk about like the last 15 years of like basketball,
Hmm.
Thunder has been relatively one of the, like, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they have like the best regular season like percentage in the last 15 years, because you have to think when they lost KD, Westbrook, and Harden, they probably had what, like 2 really bad years. The year they had Chet, and I think the year after they went like 40 and 42 or something like that. And but honestly,
True.
after that, they've had a lot of consecutive 50+ win seasons, and I feel like not a lot of people talk about that because they haven't won that chip yet.
Right.
I
And then
feel
Only
like,
like
2 losing seasons in their whole
two
time.
losing seasons, yeah.
yeah. So I feel like, I hope they really get that ring to kind of establish themselves as the next big
Yeah.
franchise potentially in the NBA, because they've shown year in year out that they can compete in the West. And we talk
Mhm.
about the West being a really tough conference. It's just that they need the little ring around their finger to kind of solidify themselves now.
Yeah. They might get it though. Ain't no telling, man. Any last thoughts on before we wrap this up, fellas?
Yeah, let me ask you, do you guys think that if the Pacers win, like let's say the Pacers win the series, it goes to let's say they win it in 6, right? They win 4-2. Halliburton has like two inconsistent games. Do you think that uh, he'll be a superstar in the league or not?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because what
That's a good
continues
question.
what's going on where he has like two inconsistent games up a playoff series. Do you still think he's would be a superstar if they win? Essentially, is what I'm asking.
So define an inconsistent game, like
Like okay,
less than
like
10 points, less than 10 points.
10 points, less than 10 rebounds, less than 10 assists, because that's what he's done in the past.
Just
And
play bad, basically. Like this.
Ooh.
In my mind, I would still say no, just because once again, I feel like if well, first of all, I feel like if the Pacers win this series, it'll not saying that Halliburton won't do his usual, but I
Yeah.
think more so because guys like Siakam stepped out, guys like T.J. McConnell, guys like Mathurin. I feel like if they actually won it, it'll be because of guys like them. With that being said, I don't think they necessarily need this is a tough one. This is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
I don't think Halliburton necessarily needs to play like an extreme superstar. Like my definition of a superstar, one, you have to be consistent, which Halliburton is not.
Yeah.
But also, a superstar to me is any player also that you can plug in on any team in the NBA and either make that team really relevant or automatically turn them into a contender. So I don't think Halliburton is at that stage just yet. I feel like I need to see another season of it, maybe, to say that. Now, if he comes back next season and has another run like this, then I have to kind of force him into that superstar role.
yeah,
I'm gonna say no because like I said, like Jay Will just said, it depends on who steps up. And on top of that, another question. The two inconsistent games, did they win or lose? So like you say, two inconsistent games, right? Did
one
they
win.
lose? Did they lose them or did
Loss.
they win?
We'll say one win, one loss because
One
it's
win,
like
one loss? Okay, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, bro, I'm gonna say no. Because like I said, last year you had a good year. Made it to the conference finals last year. We get that. But damn, I don't know, Jay. This year they in the finals. Could we
Yeah,
say this is another team that's progressing too?
yeah, you can definitely say this team is progressing
I
because this.
mean,
Oh,
here's another reason too, Jay. Let's not forget they was injured last year too.
yeah,
Pacers was injured last year. No, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna give him that superstar status because, and then I'm looking at last year. I know last year's a different story. He had a lot to do with those wins last year. Not gonna lie to you. This year, especially in the finals, the conference finals, was I ain't gonna lie, that was Siakam. The Knicks series was Siakam all the way. But the
yeah.
Bucks, that was him. Cavs, that was the team. But yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I
yeah.
hate to say it, but yeah.
No, I
Uh,
respect that.
so, like, I got a question for you, Meg. I got two questions because
Mhm.
we had a similar conversation last week, but we didn't kind of deep dive into it.
Mhm.
One, what is your definition of a superstar? And two, who would you consider in the NBA today to be a superstar?
Superstars, I think, are just like people that are in their own bubble, like Jokic. That's why it's hard for me to ever consider Halliburton a superstar and still tell you like really as a standout season because like I would never put Jokic and Halliburton in the same conversation. I would never put LeBron or Halliburton in the same conversation. I'd never put SGA and Halliburton in the same conversation. So I like the people I would say, and it's tough to really like give exactly like a list, but I'd say like Jokic, SGA, Tatum, LeBron. Other than that, it's like you could kind of, you know what I mean? Like I feel like those four guys are like in their own bubble. Even I know LeBron's kind of fallen off a little bit, but like I still put him in that category. But like other than that, it's hard to really say. Like KD's could still be in there too, but like They didn't even make the playoffs this year, so it's hard for me to throw him in there too. But like the thing is like if you consider Halliburton a superstar, then your list of superstars is going to be like 20 players. And I
Exactly.
don't think the list should be that big. You know what I mean? Because like
You think SGA is a superstar, bro?
huh?
You think SGA is a superstar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a superstar too. I think he's kind of proven it, to be honest with you. The way he's played with
Only
them.
don't I don't know.
Yeah.
The only difference is with me is that one has an MVP and the other don't.
Then who? Him and Halliburton?
Yeah.
No, I mean SGA is averaging like 14 more points than him a game.
Oh, okay.
While still being, really effective rebounding defensively, he's been a key contributor.
Yeah.
He can pass the ball as well. I don't think people talk about his, passing.
Passing skills, yeah.
It's a really
Like
Oh,
I
okay.
don't put Brunson as a superstar, but he averaged like 28, 4, and 7.
he's honestly the difference between when it comes to Bronson and SGA for me is because I've seen a lot of moments where SGA has kind of been known to be the focal point, be the guy who kind of has these breakout games. And I'm not saying that Jalen Bronson hasn't,
Yeah.
but I feel like I haven't seen enough of it, and I'm still waiting for that one Jalen Bronson run. I'm still waiting for it.
He
Like,
had good playoffs though. He was scoring like 30, 40 points and like hooping though for stuff.
but yeah, but like to me, it's like I have like all stars, just like guys who are like all-star caliber players. Then I
Mm-hmm.
have franchise players, and then I have superstar. And for right now, like guys like Jalen Bronson, who else can I throw in there? Anthony Edwards,
Edwards, yeah.
guys like
Jalen
that.
Brown
They're like
probably.
borderline. They're like borderline superstar, but still a franchise player right now to me.
Anthony not a
Borderline,
superstar.
borderline, because Ant still got to kind of prove that he can actually be one. But Anthony Edwards can be a superstar in the league. Yes, that's not crazy to say. Right now, he's a franchise player, but I think he can be that superstar.
Edwards as a
I
superstar. I could.
can't.
But it's hard to do that because it's like if you start throwing current like certain players in, then it's like, dude, then your superstar list is like 20 people, and it's like,
Okay. I
20.
think I misspoke. I'm not saying I meant to say he's close to it, but not quite there. I didn't mean to say that he's actually is one. I'm saying he's close to it, but not
You
yet.
know what? Migs, I want you on this show. We're gonna do a show in a few weeks after the season. Who's a superstar, who's an all-star, who's a franchise player? I want you on this show when we do that.
Yeah, I can write my list. I can because I
Yes.
need to like look at the players to like
We
really break it down.
I
Yeah,
can't wait to see y'all's list on this,
it's
bro.
gonna be
This is crazy. Yeah, maybe I have a different perspective of a superstar, all-star franchise player as well too. But I'm definitely looking forward to doing that show with y'all. All right, this is gonna be great. Pause. But I'm still thinking like, and we also define superstar, all-star franchise players. But like I said, we'll get into that, man. Anything else, y'all? Because that's crazy.
Oh, actually, I'd throw Curry as a superstar too.
Curry,
I'd
yeah,
put
yeah,
so
yeah, Curry, crazy man, crazy
that's what
man.
I'm saying though. It's like I think like you 7 to 10 players is the superstars. I
Right.
mean,
I feel
once
you.
you go past that, it's like you got to start throwing like LaMelo Ball in there and shit.
I'm
You
not
know
trying to
what I
stretch,
mean?
Nah, I ain't gonna throw him in there.
But
But
sounds good, bro. Thank you for having me on, dude.
I
Appreciate it.
appreciate you, man. Jay will appreciate y'all. Couple sodas. Shout out to him for joining too, man. Appreciate y'all. It's gonna be. Let's hopefully it's a good final. So
All right, yo.
peace.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.